Hey friends, Russ here, and I hope you're enjoying this mini-series on land development. Let me just tell you that this is for, our intermediate and higher end clients and students, I guess if you want to call it that. But these are all real deals, and I'm sorry, but I'm going to slip it in anyway. They told me not to, but I just want to talk to you about this whole HGTV and Bravo deal. All this flip this house, flop this house, everybody's capitalizing on it. And let me just tell you that it's fun, it's entertaining, but it's network TV designed to sell network advertising. It has nothing to do with how real estate investing and making money in real estate investing works in the real world. I just want you to know that loud and clear. Obviously, what I'm showing you here is the real deal. All these are verifiable and provable. I don't expect necessarily if you're just getting started that you're going to do these big kind of deals. However, our Millionaire University program, which you can learn about through our coaching call, booking a coaching call, at the end of this series, we'll give you some information on how you can get more information. And so you don't just get excited and now you're left, you're left behind. What do I do next? There's a lot of books out there get you all excited. And then at the end, it's like, well, what do I do? What's step 1, 2, 3? We want you to have the step 1, 2, 3. And so that excites me. And so this is one of my big deals where I put on my big glasses. So let's move right on with the land development. Now, land development, bigger deals. Now, in all honesty, these aren't prescriptions, so I got to take them off. So let's get on with this. This is a bank building. Now, this is in downtown Orlando, Florida, and it's right across from the courthouse. So look it up on Google. It was I think Southern Bank, and listen to this very closely because this is one of those things that people think too good to be true. You're playing in the game and you're at this every day and you're prospecting. You're starting to make contacts. These things come along every day in every city and town in the United States. So this is a 17-story office building. It was brought to us by a student just like you who ended up making close to or more than $1 million just for bringing us this deal. Now, this building was on a land lease. So what that means is the people who owned the land leased the land to the people who built the building. So they owned the building but not the land. And this was started years ago. The first land leases were started by John Astor, one of the first millionaires, if not the first millionaire in the United States, back in the 1700s. And he started all the land leases in Manhattan. So in Manhattan, New York, you can't really buy land there. You have to lease it from the owner to build your building. Well, here's what happened. The people who built the building got into a financial problem, and they couldn't pay the land lease. Now the land lease was only $1 million. Now look at that building. That building has to be worth what? 15 million, 20 million, whatever. So we went in when they brought us this, and we bought the building out of foreclosure. Now think about this: if you called me and you found this building, and the land lease was only $1 million. I would fund that in a heartbeat. Money for this kind of stuff is easy to find, really easy to find. And I'll show you why as I show you how we find it. So anyway, we raised the money. We bought this out of foreclosure for $1 million, and now we've got a 17-story office building. So what do we do with it? There you can see it laid out. The building is right to your upper right there, as you can see. Right across from the courthouse in Orlando. Now look at what we did is we rehabbed it. So we got an architect to come in. They gave us the renderings on what we should do. And the reason this worked is every floor is about 7,000 square feet. So let's say you're a small law firm. Your elevator opens right up into your floor, and now you have 7,000 square feet, which would be a medium or a small law firm or a doctor practice or what have you. Very, very classy. So you see the before, you see the after. And as you can see right here, we paid $1 million for the property. Isn't that crazy? We put $8 million in. Now, I just talked to Kent Densley, the VP in charge of our commercial properties, because I wasn't sure where did we get the $8 million? He said we got it from Fifth Third Bank is where we borrowed the money. It was a no-brainer because they have a 17-story building as collateral. So, I mean, that could be with a hedge fund and insurance company. That could be easily simply an equity loan. So we rehabbed the building, and then we ended up selling this building several years later for $20,300,000. We walked out of this deal with $11,300,000. Now, that has nothing to do with money or rich or who you are. It has to do with training. It has to do with getting some coaching on how do these things work? Where do you find them? Where do you find them where you live? What are the resources to put this kind of deal together? Well, I'm really happy you've come to russwhitney.com, and I'm happy you're looking at this. I hope we're opening your eyes to seeing not just a duplex or a triplex, but bigger possibilities as you get a little more experience. Okay, let's move on to the next deal, and this is one of many. And these aren't necessarily all the best ones. I just wanted to mix in the different types of things that can be done once you have some experience, you have some coaching, you have some training. This one here is right in the town I live in, and it is about a 26-acre piece that somebody brought to me. I can't even remember why they brought it to me, but sorry, my mustache is itching my nose. Anyway, so it was for sale for, as you can see, $5.1 million. Now, this is a perfect syndication if you follow the 7 steps to land development, which are actually right in this training manual. So these are what we take our land development students who are generally intermediate or better, but I'm going to tell you what, I don't think it needs to be that. I think you can start any way you want to start. Although I had experience in duplex, triplex, multi-units, I didn't have any experience in land development. And if you go back to the first video, I explain all that. This 7 steps, this one fits into about step 3 or 4. So usually when you buy a piece of land like this, the beautiful thing about it is you get to put down a very small deposit, minimal deposit, and you'll get 4 to 6 months of what's called due diligence. In other words, if you're going to buy a duplex or a fourplex, you put the offer in, within a week you got to close on it. In land and bigger deals like this, especially land, you get 4 to 6 months due diligence. That is, say a soil test. You bring a land use planner in. What's the highest and best use for this property? Is there a need for that right now? So you bring in experts. And generally on a consulting basis, there's no charge for those for getting initial consultations. And it gives you an idea on what you can do. And that's why I lean toward land, because sometimes land is easier. It's not, I say easier, but it is a more risk-free, less risk way to go than duplex, triplex. Now again, I still recommend, if you have no real estate experience whatsoever, you start with, our Millionaire University training program, or with some of our books or beginning products. If you've been to some of these seminars where they put the carrot in front of your face and then they try to sell you all these expensive upgraded trainings and nothing's happened, then you're in the right place, okay? So 26 acres, we put together the funds to buy it for $5.1 million. Now, we were going to put an office building on it. Before we bought it, but we decided that wasn't the way to go. So now we invest in the land, and we put together what we call our Magic Blue Book, and you'll learn that in that land development training program. And this is where we put together all the information on this particular land, where it is, what it's zoned for, what is the demographics around, traffic counts, all easy stuff you can get generally right on the internet these days. And we then sent it out to developers because we thought the best thing for this was putting commercial properties on there, making it a big commercial development. And so we sent that out, put the book together, and sent it out to commercial developers, okay, via realtors. So we didn't want to develop. The last thing we want to do is have to go raise the money and build this thing. What we want to do is paint the pretty picture for somebody who's in the business of building these big commercial developments, and they have the funding. So it's almost like wholesaling, buying a rundown piece of property and then wholesaling and making a $2,000 to $3,000 profit, on a single family duplex or what have you. This is just playing in a bigger league. Same concept though. Well, guess what? We were totally wrong in sending it out to commercial developers because we didn't get much response at all. Somehow it got into the hands of the school district here in Lee County. So you see, we sold for public school development. They came back now and made an offer. Now, we didn't even go to the school district. It just sometimes falls in your lap. They came back and they made us an offer on this property for, let me see what it was. Okay, there you can see the plat of it. What eventually was built there, you see is Patriot Elementary and the Challenger Middle School. Now again, the developer did this. We just sold the land to the developer, and I sold it in less than 4 months. So there you see the actual school, the after, once it's built, and that's just part of it. Now take a look at this. So let me read this to you. The Lee County School District is poised to shell out $3,800,000 per acre. Now, we're talking about, geez, on the four corners, we're talking about how much per acre? It's on $10 million. Well, just read this anyway, so without me having to brag about it. This is the highest per acre price Lee County ever paid. The $8.5 million cost also will be the largest single land purchase in district history. The corporation selling land to the school system stands to make $3.3 million in profit after owning the land for just 5 months. It was actually 4 months. 27 acres, the property size is nothing special. Skyline Trafalgar Incorporated on May 20th purchased land for $5.16 million, that was me. On June 22nd, Skyline Trafalgar partner Russ Whitney said the Whitney Education Group, of which he is CEO and partner, abandoned earlier plans to build 100,000 square foot headquarters on that site. Whitney Education Group trains people in investment strategies. Thank you for the plug. Now look at this. Cape Coral's hot real estate market, which nationwide we got a hot real estate market right now, helped fuel a profit from the acquisition of $3.34 million, or more than $22,000 a day between June and November. So they're calculating what I bought it for, what I sold it for in that 4 months. They're saying I made $22,000 a day. But anyway, Whitney said Tuesday he received other offers in the same price range, but would rather sell to the school district because it serves a public interest, which is true. They always want to look to the community to benefit from these types of deals. However, he added that simply making $400,000 worth of water and sewer improvements could have driven the price as high as $11 million. That's very true, but you know what? It would have took me probably 2.5 years, 2 years to get that done. It would have probably cost more than $400,000. If you got a deal like this and you can make $3 million in 3 or 4 months, you sell it and move on. Simple as that. You take your chips off the table. And that's the magic that you learn coming here. You're watching Flip This House and Flop That House and Flip Boss at HGTV. It's one of the things that really has put a burr in my butt and kind of motivated me to come back here and start our training back up, because right now, really active in the real estate market, things are working good, not only here, but nationwide. So we've devised great training programs, and we have some great free information. So now that you're at the end of this, I just want to tell you something, that if you really want to get started, these seminars and these carrots in front of you, why don't you just book a free coaching call? And that's how we do it. You can't get in here. You can't get in here and you can't get to me without booking the free coaching call. And we want to find out who you are, whether you're a fit for us, and whether we're a fit for you. You know, some of the best deals I've made, I've walked away from. And I don't mean that to be a personal affront to you. I don't mean it to be insulting or offensive, but I don't want to work with any looky-loos. I want to work with people who really want to get it done. You know, I don't want, as Jim Rohn said, people who let their learning lead to knowledge and then become a fool. There's many people buy these trainings, they go to all these trainings, never do anything. You know, you're going to make an investment. There's no doubt about that. The best way to find out about it is to make the coaching call. Talk to me. You'll get either me or one of our coaches and see what it's all about. And if you know what, if you're afraid to make the coaching call, you're not the candidate for us. But if you are, I think you're going to find a home here. So book your coaching call, and I'll talk to you soon.